Hey guys, I recently discovered a problem with the Treal overdrive gear set that I bought for my Warthog build, and after talking to Treal and getting a replacement gear, I think I've confirmed that there is a batch of overdrive gears out there that may be defective, or that is defective. The problem is knowing whether or not you've got them or not. The way that I discovered this was that I had installed the gear here on the left in my Warthog build, and I had the axle out of the truck, but I still had the drive shaft attached. Or I had attached the drive shaft prior to putting the axle back in the truck. And after I had installed the overdrive gears, I was spinning the drive shaft, and I could tell that there was a problem. The drive shaft would spin freely, and then it would bind, spin free and bind. And after looking everywhere that I could think of external to the overdrive gears, I couldn't find anything that was causing the bind. So I figured it had to be the gears because I had just installed them, and prior to that everything was fine. So I took the overdrive gear out, and sure enough, I could see even with the naked eye that there was a problem with the gear. And then I also looked at it with a microscope and a magnifying glass, and it was 100% obvious that there was a defect in the overdrive gear itself. And that's why I'm making this video, to show you what the problem is and to encourage you to look at your overdrive gears if you have a binding problem that you cannot figure out. I will add that you have to make sure that your wheels are disconnected, because a lot of guys have a tendency to over tighten the wheels, and that will cause a funky binding issue on its own. So remember, take your wheels off if you want to verify whether or not you've got a problem related to this gear. So the gear on the left is the defective gear, the gear on the right is the good gear, and I have everything super close up here so you could see, so it's a little bit challenging to work with, but I'll do the best I can. Also, at the end, I'm going to put some microscope shots up that you can see even better. They're crappy microscope shots, but they still allow you to see up close. And at the very end, I've got two of them side by side that I show front and rear in a video clip that you'll be able to see up close as well. So the area that you need to look at is this area right here. So this flat shiny area here on the right side and the flat shiny area on the left. And I think if you look at it closely now that I've pointed out, you'll see that it is different. This is thick, that's thin, which indicates that this gear was not punched properly in the center. Now if you look at the good gear here on the right, you'll see that this side is even and that side is even. So this gear is properly centered and cut. And you can imagine that if this was on a shaft, that this gear would be going high, low, high, low, high, low, and that would be rubbing up against this worm gear, causing the binding. And that's exactly what was happening. The gear on the left being not centered was causing the binding. So now I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to try to hold it in front of the camera. And it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be pretty, but I'm going to do the best I can. And I can get pretty close with this camera, and I think you can see it quite clearly. If you look at this flat spot here, the shiny part, and this spot here, you can see that they are not centered. And that means that that gear is not cut properly. These pieces here at the top and at the bottom, that's part of the metal of the gear that is supposed to be there, and it is not part of the problem. So you can see it there. This is the defective gear, remember, and you can see it quite clearly there. It's thinner on the left and thicker on the right. So now let me show you the good gear. And I'm going slowly here because I don't want my surface to move. So here's the good gear. If you look at it left and right, you'll see that the hole is perfectly centered. And then if you look at the back, you can see that the hole is perfectly centered. So now let's look at them side by side, up close. And again, I know that the lighting sucks, everything sucks about this, but I'm doing the best I can. And I'm going to try to hold them steady, but it's not easy because it's so close up. So bad gear on the left, good gear on the right, on the front side. If you look at the shiny surface on the left, you can see quite clearly it's not centered. On the right it is. The new gear from Treal is quite a bit shinier, and there's nothing I can do about that. So it's hard to get a good picture of it. And here is the backside. Still bad gear on the left and good gear on the right. And you can see that the one on the right is properly centered. So anyway, as I said, I got the replacement gear set from Treal. After seeing my photos, the girl who I was communicating with took it to her engineers and thanked me for pointing it out and sent me the new gear. And although I have not installed it yet, I'm 100% confident that this is going to solve the problem and I'll be good to go. But I did want to get this video out to the community to show that there is a potential problem out there, and it's up to you to figure out whether or not you've got the problem. But if you've been chasing a binding issue that you can't figure out, this may be the cause of it. So again, here's the number. It's the best I can do, being so close up. This is the this is the 214 tooth set. And so yeah, now I will go ahead and put a video up of, or not a video, I'll put some close-up shots with my cheapo microscope and then a video clip of them side by side so you can see a little bit more up close for yourself what the problem with this gear is. And good luck figuring out whether or not you've got a problem with your gears.